Alright, what's going on to YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel. This week, we're working on a random bike here and we are changing out our rear shifter here. But before we get into today's video, if you're new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure you hit that little bell icon right next to that. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of this awesome cycling content we got on this channel. So right into the video, what is this bike? Well, this is another bike I am flipping just like that beach cruiser the other week. We are just flipping this bike, getting it all set to go back out on the road and continue riding. One problem with this bike, of course, our shifter here is completely shot. It is broken to pieces. It will never shift again. So what I did, I went ahead and went out and I got myself a new 6-speed shifter here. Yes, 6-speed, very basic gears, but we got ourselves another 6-speed shifter with the cable already there. So we're gonna get this shifter swapped out, make sure the rear derailleur is properly adjusted, and this bike is set to go. So let's get right over to the handlebars here, we'll get this shifter off, get the cable disconnected from the rear derailleur, and get going on this. So before we get up to the handlebar, first thing we gotta do, we gotta undo our cable from back here. So as you can tell right here, this is I believe it's a 9mm, yep, 9mm. We're just gonna go ahead and loosen that up. Yours may differ just based on the bike and derailleur you have. Go ahead and get that popped out there. There we go. And we have a cable end. We'll just pull that off. That way we don't have to worry about that cable end. And we'll drop our wrench. And then from there, you're just gonna go ahead, pull out all your housing and your cable, and we'll get right up to the handlebars and take the shifter off. Now that we got the old housing off of there, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna take off our grip. Sometimes you get lucky and twist it. Other times if it doesn't really wanna come off, get yourself some WD-40 with the straw, peel up the end, spray it in, and twist as you go. The lever should come right off. There's actually our old shifter right there, so you can tell that is busted up pretty bad. There's no coming back from this one at all. So this guy, we just chuck it, done. Now you can tell right here on the handlebars there's still the old mount for it, and this is pretty much how all these grip shifters are mounted. They pretty much have a little set screw right there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead, grab our Allen wrenches, and probably a 2. Looks like a 2mm. Let's take a look here. Yep, 2mm. And we're just going to, oh my goodness. There it goes. All right. Loosen that up just a little bit and then it should just slide right off like so. Then with our old one off, just go ahead and get our new one. And this one works a little bit differently. It actually has a clamp on it versus just a set screw. So let's see if it slides over, and it does. Perfect. And in this case, instead of going below the brake lever, this one goes on top of the brake lever, which is perfectly fine. So we'll kind of set that right there. Let's make sure our grip will slide on. We can slide our grip right back onto the handlebars. And if you use WD-40, it will just dry, so you will be fine. Just give it a minute to dry off. You can make sure you wipe it off too. But there we go. There is that all set, and we'll just tighten up everything again to make sure everything's still tight. That way nothing moves up here, and we'll get ready right onto running the cable. So here's one tip that I actually think is kind of cool, and I've shared this tip before in a video all about just improving your shifting quality. As you can tell right here, this section on our old cable, this is actually where our rear housing was. So you can tell right in the middle of that cable, that is all rusted. Guess what rust does in your cables? It causes extra drag, which then makes your shifting not near as crispy. So with this being like this, you know that the inside of these are probably not as smooth as they could be. So what we're gonna do, here's the tip, get yourself a little bit of lubricant, whatever that might be, Tri-Flow, this stuff, whatever it might be. And what we're gonna do, we're just going to put this in the end of this, and we're just gonna blast this cable housing until we feel it is properly lubricated, and then we'll go ahead and slide our new cable into it. Okay, so let's get on to routing this cable. So first thing you wanna do, you wanna go ahead, undo the twist in your cable here if you installed a new cable. Cool, just go ahead, untangle that cable, make sure it is nice and straight. Don't kink it, try not to kink it. There we go. All right, so just like so, and then running this is actually fairly simple. So what we need to do, just kind of need to figure out how this was run before. So obviously ours just had 2 pieces of cable housing, so it's pretty simple, one's long, one's short. Long one generally goes at the front, and then what you're gonna do, you're just gonna go ahead and make sure you run your cable through here. There we go. Run it all the way through, just like so, into our new shifter. And you wanna make sure you route it so it's good. So route it around your brake cable, like don't get it caught up on your front brake cable here. And then you're just gonna put it into your stops here, just like so. And then in this case, on this one, it has kind of a slot here at the bottom. So we need to, I'm actually gonna throw a little bit of lube on that. So with the rear piece, you gotta make sure you put this in right because it's kind of a tight curve. So in my case, it was like this. That's how it was. So that should be there. Go ahead and run our cable through here. There we are. Cool. So we'll go up and around. We gotta run this down through our adjuster back here. We're just gonna tighten that adjuster all the way up so we can make sure we have some adjustability available there. Pull that down through there. All right, and we got our cable nice and run. Now what you want to make sure you do is make sure that your shifter is actually in the lowest gear, so you have the most cable available to you, because what's going to happen when you shift that up, it's going to pull the cable, pull the derailleur in towards the rear wheel. Make sure you have that properly adjusted there. Now that we have it all set here, this is the adjuster I was talking about that's tightened all the way in. We're going to go ahead and feed our cable down through our little clamp there, our retainer. Cool. That's all adjusted. Make sure you have some tension. Make sure you're at least pulling down on your cable. You don't want to pull on a bunch. You just want to make sure you have some tension on there. That way it's tight and it's not just loose and hanging around in there. So we're gonna get that tightened all up here. That way your cable doesn't just slide right out. So that is all tightened there. And you'll notice we got some extra here. We're gonna go ahead and leave this extra little bit on here until we get this properly adjusted. That way we don't have to worry about potentially adjusting the cable from that point. As you can tell, it's a little loose there. It's still a little loose in the biggest gear. So we're gonna go ahead and pull it just through a little bit more. There we go, let's see how that feels. You can use just a hair. So from here, now that your cable's adjusted, you can actually use this little barrel adjuster here to make very fine-tuned adjustments on here. Increase the cable tension just a hair. Cool. Once you get your cable all adjusted properly, you're just gonna go ahead and trim this down. I generally do, let's see where we at here. So I would go a little bit farther than the body of the derailleur, right about there, and then just crimp on your new cable end cap, and you are set to go. So that is how you go ahead and get a new shifter installed on your bike. The process is very similar between a grip shifter, trigger shifter, whatever it might be. That process is very similar. If you need help adjusting your derailleurs, I did a whole video about how to adjust your derailleurs going into what all the screws mean and how to get those properly adjusted. I'll have a link in the description below if you need to get that all adjusted and get those properly done. Otherwise, replacing your shifter is a very simple task. As long as everything was all adjusted, all you gotta do is really adjust your cable tension and install the new one on there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did enjoy the video, give it a big thumbs up. Appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Love chatting with you guys. Love answering any questions you guys have. And we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching today.